And ladies and gentlemen, I've invested into an Ibanez Tube Screamer finally, and this guitar pedal fucking bops. I'm the Mr. Ryan, and I'm a fan.
And I'm Kyrol. And I'm wondering if these popcorn buckets are real. I have to look this up.
Are you talking about the fake Wolverine and Deadpool ones?
Are they fake?
Yeah, they just said they were going to do something like that, and people started mocking them up.
Okay. Yeah. I just saw those, and I'm just like, wait a minute. What's going on here?
Bullshit.
This can't be real.
Yeah. Was it the one that had like Deadpool's face on the side of the bucket, or the one on top?
On the side of the bucket.
Okay. Those I know were like confirmed fake from day one.
Okay.
Happy Easter, everybody, for those of you who celebrated with us.
Yeah. Jesus did the thing.
Rock on, Jesus. I think Jesus will be a very, very big fan of the Ibanez Tube Screamer. The TS9 model, to be exact. It's got everything you're looking for in great tone. Hashtag not sponsored. Or am I? How was your 2-week break, Kyril?
Mixed bag, honestly. I don't know. It's been busy. Work's
Fair.
been work, you know.
Yeah, work sucks. I know.
I don't get how we're in the year of our Lord 2024 and people still don't know how to use email effectively. It is mind-boggling.
What are they doing?
Just not sending messages, hoping that things get communicated by word of mouth. It's like, if you want someone, me, to know a particular piece of information, just fucking tell me. Just send me an email. But no, that's too difficult, apparently. So we have this ring around of things apparently being late that nobody tells us are urgent until they're already late. It's like, okay, cool.
I have this rule at
great.
Farmers where I'm working at. If you have anything that's important to me, you better type it out so I can read it later.
Yep.
Absolutely hate being told things word of mouth just on the grounds that I'm going to forget it. I'm going to diffuse it later. I'm going to forget everything you told me. Please read it out.
And then there's like, you know, it's coverage for both of us, right?
Yeah.
It's, you know, good for me because I have a written record of the thing that you want done. And it's good for you because now you have proof that you actually told me the thing. Because a lot of the time, these are people who I don't ever see. They're over in different buildings than I work in. And it's like, what do you want me to do? I don't know you. I don't see you ever. There's like 2 chains that your message has to go through before it gets to me, if it does. So, very frustrating, but what can you do?
Let me put it this way, right? In the history of humanity, no one has ever been shot for sending an email.
Well,
Who got shot for sending an email?
For sending an email.
Lay your claim.
Uh, hmm.
Your silence is deafening, Kyril.
I'm not finding anything.
For as long as we've had email, we've had the internet. So the internet would have a case like that somewhere in like the true crime databases or
You
whatnot.
know, it's kind of sad
What?
because I included the word like shot in my search. It's just pulling up like mass shootings from the last few weeks.
Ignore those.
It's literally all that it is.
No.
Chicago, Worcester, Chicago, police database for shootings. I don't see this one, but it's a road rage somewhere near Ken's 5 News. Yeah.
You see, this is why we don't let capitalism get this big. Because
Mm-hmm.
the number one search engine just happens to be promoting all the news stories that only people care about. And it's only
Yep.
the things people care about because capitalist news sources know that makes money. So it's just a feedback loop of selling us the same dribble over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
Where I just want to prove my goddamn point, thank you.
Mm-hmm. It was very cool though. We had the eclipse happen.
That was a wild day.
Yeah, it was neat.
I got invited over to like the big boy farmers offices that day.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole time I'm driving, I've got like this very deep fear that not only will I be facing the sun while I'm driving, but that's when the eclipse will happen at the same time. Luckily, not did not happen. I did not know what time the eclipse was going to be. Luckily, it was not when I was driving.
That's good.
Because like we already have that little thing where we put the sun visor down.
Mm-hmm.
But is that really going to stop like the eye pollution of an eclipse?
Oh yeah, absolutely. The big problem with the eclipse is that people are really dumb.
Yeah.
That's the big thing, is that you have people who are stupid and they see 98% coverage and they think 2% of the sun, I can take that.
No,
Or
you
that's
cannot.
not that bad. And you can't. It will ruin, like, give you cancer, ruin your eyes. Even if it doesn't blind you, like, people forget how dangerous ultraviolet light is, even at 2%, right?
Yeah.
It's really bad.
So I took some photos of the eclipse like through my phone.
Hmm.
Yeah. Even then, I was like holding up there and I could feel like the strain on my eyes just like a little bit. And I was like, I
Hmm.
should probably stop this right fucking now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did I send you the picture of my bootleg camera setup?
No, but I saw it on Twitter, which I gotta
Okay.
applaud you. Good job.
Yeah. Made a little lens for my zoom lens with a half of a viewing glasses set. And it worked okay. It was fine.
I got these kind of cool photos of the eclipse like through my phone
Hmm.
where it
Oh
would,
yeah.
yeah, you can see like through like the little glare against my camera thing, a partial
Yeah.
version of the eclipse underneath it.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it was almost worth the eye strain.
Yeah, I loved seeing the Google Trends graph of increased searches for headache, eye looked, eyes hurt on the day following the eclipse. It's just beautiful.
For me, it was like only like 10 minutes of strain, but I'm like, man, I could have fucked myself up there.
Hmm. Apparently, there was some guy who did not believe that looking at the eclipse was actually dangerous. And he went and did a science where he looked at the eclipse with one eye through like an eclipse viewing glasses and one eye completely exposed for like 10 minutes. And he destroyed his exposed eye,
Oh
where it's
no.
like nasty and red and inflamed and all bloodshot. And he had to go to the hospital, of course, because no fucking shit. But it's like the kind of thing where I would not be surprised if that person is now blind in that eye for the rest of their life.
He's gonna wear an eye patch.
Yeah.
Yarg, I be staring at the eclipse too long.
Hmm. In other news from the wrap up this week, the juice has been loosed from this mortal coil.
Juice got squeezed?
Juice got squeezed, expired.
Ooh. Jump down the
OJ
drain?
Simpson. OJ Simpson, dead of cancer, April 10th, 2024. And honestly, nothing of value was lost.
Eh.
Just I am glad that the public opinion in regard to him has mostly swung around to align with the reality of what happened.
But now we'll never know who killed his wife.
Man, really shitty thing I was reading. Apparently, his executor of his estate confirmed that it was OJ's wishes to ensure that the is it the Goldenthal's, the family of the person he murdered, um, were to never see another dime of his money after he died.
That doesn't scream I did it.
Sorry, Goldman. Yeah, and almost certainly not actually enforceable, but kind of thing that just sort of goes to show where his own mental state was even at this point so many years later.
Yeah. You know, it's kind of weird because, like, the OJ Simpson case is like one of those media phenomenons we weren't around for.
Hmm.
So, like, I'll never understand, like, what the hype was behind the case.
Yeah.
But this is, like, the closest I could ever imagine at this point.
Yeah, I think from what I understand, it was mostly the police chase that made it go extremely viral, where it went on for so long and was so public and was so easy to for the news to report on that it was kind of impossible for people to avoid as it was happening.
Mm.
And you're like right on the cusp of 24-hour news coming right into its prime, right?
It probably is one of those events that caused 24-hour news to get to where it
Hmm.
is.
Or at the very least validated it for what it already
Yeah.
was.
Investment legitimize.
Yeah.
I think I saw, like,
Some
oh, sorry.
No, go for
Someone on Twitter showed their collection of all the OJ, like, trial
it.
recorded onto tapes.
Wow.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, I guess it makes sense, right? You
Let's say,
can't
like,
watch it live, you gotta save it for later.
the average VHS tape is probably like what, 3 hours worth of content?
God, I should know that. I want to say six was the standard.
6. Oh, hot
Four,
damn.
4 or 6. It was something like that.
Because this person had like 12.
Yeah, I believe it. Which I mean, it's kind of weird in one part because you would expect them to watch it and then just write over and
Yeah.
not save the whole thing. So they clearly had some additional motivation, like when they did it, where it's like, oh yeah, we're gonna repeat this one later, so we gotta hold on to it.
Imagine that. Someone's like, hey man, you want to come over and watch the whole OJ Simpson trial tonight?
Yeah.
Bring some beer and pizza and wings, and we'll be all
Yeah.
set.
The Thinking Man's extended trilogy watch party.
Maybe they were a lawyer. Like, okay, bro, two options for the slumber party tonight. We can either watch the whole MCU or the OJ Simpson trial. Your choice. No pressure.
Is there really a choice?
How long was the OJ Simpson trial? 11 months. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Went on for a while. And you get the two-parter, right? Because you have the criminal trial and the civil trial.
So, okay, according to this, all of the Marvel Cinematic Universe at the moment is about 124 hours,
Jesus. That's so long.
isn't it? That's including TV shows, though.
Yeah.
So there was 41 days of testimony. Okay, how long is the average session of court? 15 minutes to an hour. Okay, the MCU is slightly longer than the O.J. Simpson trial. Just
Wow.
barely. So when are we going to get the O.J. Simpson movie?
I'd imagine it's probably going to be coming around soon.
Who do you think is going to play him?
Who would play OJ? Man.
Controversial opinion. I've got one right here. Ready?
All right, shoot it. Go for it.
Jonathan fucking Majors.
Oh. Oh no.
Yo, if he does it right, I'm willing to accept him back into Hollywood if he mans up and does that.
Yeah, let me actually check something.
Does not mean I will accept him back open arms. I'm just saying I'm willing to humor a comeback.
Trying to find the name of an actor who I haven't seen them in anything in a long time. When was that? 2007. I am DB. Oh, that doesn't even really show up. Oh, well, I guess it's not quite. No, it's mostly just the haircut. It's not really that good of a match. I was thinking like Anthony Anderson looks kind of like a younger OJ, but it's really just because they have a similar short hairstyle, and that's kind of it.
Yeah, I don't see it.
Anderson's jaw is very different.
He's got that good jaw.
But I was thinking though, the last thing I remember seeing Anderson in is Transformers from like 2007. So it's just like, what's he look like now? I don't actually know. It's like, oh yeah, it's a bit different than I remember. Apparently, they're making another Transformers movie.
Wasn't this like Transformers 1?
Yeah,
Jesus.
an origin story set on Cybertron.
Because that's what we need is Cybertron.
Have you seen anything related to the what the fuck is it even called? Transformers uh Rise of the Beast? No, not that one. The Last Night.
No, but go on.
I highly recommend the Cosmonaut Marcus or Cosmonaut Variety Hour video of it. He has a really good one, and another movie video essayist who I've recently started watching, can't remember their name. Pointless Hub has a really good one as well. Either of them, I I was not aware until seeing those because of course I haven't fucking seen it. It's like I think everyone knows is awful, even though
Mhm.
no one's seen it. I wasn't aware of just how bad it was. It's really bad.
You know, I think there's one way for Transformers to get like a 10 out of 10 from me.
Yeah.
Okay, right? So, it involves Congress.
Good start. Good
Yeah.
start.
Congress in specifically Ford motor vehicles in like Toyota, all of the big manufacturers, right?
Yeah.
They do not want their brands associated with the Autobots and Decepticons. So they say they have to transform into cars that do not look like any of their brands.
Okay.
And because this is Congress, they have, Congress will give this business more rights than the fucking Autobots.
Hmm.
So you have this big dramatic, like, God is Dead 2 moment where
Hmm.
Optimus Prime is, like, going to speak in front of Congress. And then he's going to say something along the lines of, trans rights are human rights. Get Optimus Prime to say that. Like, in context, 10 out of 10.
Let me send you a picture real quick, and I
Oh,
can give you my
no.
idea. Okay.
Okay.
So I want to be clear. This is fan art, but the scene that it is depicting is after the last night, completely canon. This is an event that actually happened in the Transformers universe.
Is that a fucking Autobahn Transformer?
That is Bumblebee fighting for the Allies during World War II, assaulting a Nazi stronghold.
God fucking bless.
So, in the last night, God, they made a toy for it. It's literally just called World War II Bumblebee.
That better be a fucking Volkswagen he's supposed to be modeled after.
Beautiful. No, I believe he's just like a Jeep or
Oh,
something because he's American, right?
yeah.
He's fighting with the Allies. Um, this is the kind of thing that's like maybe it was canon already, but I don't think normal people knew this until this point. It's kind of surprising to learn that Transformers and the Autobots versus the Decepticons have been around for basically the entirety of humanity's existence. What I would love to see is a Transformers movie set in like Soviet bloc Russia, where the Transformers have to transform into the shittiest cars you've ever seen.
That would be hilarious. I raise
And
you.
like
Sorry.
the only good one does get to be like a Gen 1 Beetle.
I raise you old style Model T Transformers where you have to crank the engine.
Yes. Hell yeah.
So you have like this conga line of like Autobots cranking their own engine so they can drive.
Apparently there's an unofficial World War II tank transformer. It was apparently like a prototype that was actually considered but never released.
Cowards.
Yep. Yep. So yeah, that's the state of Transformers, and they're making another one. I will say though, I do get the because I haven't seen it, of course, so I don't know this for sure. But in the coverage that I've seen of it, it does seem like the last night has rounded the corner from being so bad that it's just bad to being so bad that you are actively laughing at it the whole time because it is so fucking absurd and stupid in
Good.
every possible scene. So it at least has that going for it. It's hit the like Fast and Furious 7 nexus point where it's so dumb that it's just dumb.
Really, I want a Fast and Furious Transformers like combo movie.
Hmm.
And the fact that we haven't got that now just tells me how cowardly Hollywood is.
See, you gotta keep it, in the brands though, right?
Okay,
Do you know what other toy line Hasbro has licensing for still?
My
Was
Little
also a
Pony.
popular children's animated TV series in the 80s and 90s.
My Little Pony.
No, no. This is for boys, not
For
girls.
Jesus. Okay, please tell me what popular toy line from the 90s and 80s Hasbro still has access to.
At the end of Transformers The Last Night, there's a
Oh
bit of
God.
a post-credits stinger that confirms that in the Transformers universe, coinciding with them at the same time, is also the GI fucking Joes.
God fucking bless America. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's how that's going. and we're getting a prequel next, so they probably won't be appearing in that. But, we'll have to wait and see. It's, for some fucking reason, it's not quite Fast and Furious levels of crossover, but it's pretty close.
That's beautiful. Why? Okay, so why hasn't Dwayne the Rock Johnson not been in a GI Joe movie?
I actually don't know. I'd imagine that's just because there's been so few of them.
Ah, that's fair.
There's only been, wow, apparently there's been four.
Really? That's two more than I
Oh my
expected.
God. There was one that Dwayne The Rock fucking Johnson was cast to play in, and it was canceled.
Cowards.
Yeah. G.I. Joe, Ever Vigilant, planned to come out in 2016 as another vehicle for Dwayne Johnson's rise in popularity, and it never happened.
Cowards.
Yep.
I will throw
It
hands with
had a
you.
trailer.
It
I'm
got all
watching
the way to a
this.
trailer.
Yeah.
No.
G.I. Joe 2, Retaliation, official. Oh, wait, sorry. Maybe he was just in the other one. Is he just in Retaliation? Oh my God. Fucking Bruce Willis was in it too.
You're telling me we
Yeah.
lost the
No,
greatest
he was,
movie of
he
all
was,
time.
he was just in it. Dwayne Johnson as Roadblock in G.I. Joe Retaliation 2013.
We live in an
29%
unfair
on
world.
Rotten Tomatoes. I love it. That's wild. It still made almost $400 million in the box office. What was the budget for this piece of shit? It's not that
Too
extreme.
much. How much?
130.
Oh, that's not bad.
I mean, it's an action movie, and with the March release, it's gonna be pretty big budget. That's not unreasonable.
I guarantee half of that went to Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
Probably. Oh yeah, they did the 2021 Snake Eyes one that flopped pretty hard because COVID was still going.
I forgot that was even a thing.
Yeah, it kind of had no one of note in it. I don't remember.
If you could combine two major like franchises into one super movie, what would it be?
Two franchises. I don't know. I guess I wouldn't. I
Coward.
would I would hold on to that power until the end of my life to make sure nobody else could use it.
I hate you.
I think it would be really interesting to see. Like I would go for something like really off the walls, like uh Jason Bourne has to partner with the what the hell is it called? Harrison Ford. No. The Fugitive. Harrison Ford's The Fugitive has to partner with Jason Bourne for some fucking reason.
I love your concept right there, right? Because
Yeah.
it's basically like kid with toys right there, but
Yeah.
they're like not the major franchise toys. That comes from a place of
No.
genuine love.
No. I want it to happen because it would be so dumb, but I think everybody involved with it is talented enough to make it not be insufferable to watch. And
So
like thematically, they're kind of in the same, I don't even want to say ballpark. They're not completely awful together.
you ready for mine?
Not like if you want to have like Blade Runner and My Little Pony kind of thing, right? That would be despicable. But please, I would love to know.
Okay. This is going to get real stupid real fast.
Hmm.
I want to mix John Wick
Hmm.
with The Matrix.
Okay.
I want to have Neo and John Wick just standing right next to each other.
Yeah.
Just have this double Keanu movie. And they're basically like the same character in both movies too. Like as
Hmm.
like this
Pretty much.
impenetrable badass.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just watch Keanu Reeves double book the same performance.
It really is just like the plot of John Wick and The Matrix is Keanu Reeves plays Keanu Reeves with a gun.
Yeah, it's literally the best idea.
Hmm. I'd watch the trailer for that.
Yeah, and it could be like one of those things where like Keanu Reeves meets himself. Like John Wick gets thrown in the Matrix, right? And then he runs
Hmm.
into Neo, like by passing a corner, and they both look at each other, and they both go, "Whoa."
God. See, the problem though is that Keanu Reeves is a gem.
Yeah,
He's not a great actor. He is just so sincere that it is impossible to not like him, you know?
yeah.
And he has incredible athleticism. I would be very concerned for just how bad the dialogue would get in any scene like that.
That's why you do it. And here's the thing, right? We don't need CGI for like this movie. I don't want to see Neo and John Wick in the same frame. I want to see them take a terribly like bad like stunt double for Keanu and like put him like facing behind the camera and then have Keanu just like go back
Yeah.
and forth playing both characters like in the shot reverse
Yeah.
shot
Oh,
style.
yes, that's exactly what I was thinking. I'm just imagining like a 5 minute scene of John Wick, Keanu Reeves, who has all of the hair, and John Wick, or sorry, Neo, Keanu Reeves, who has no hair at all, just like slowly circling each other in a shot revert shot for like 5 minutes.
I want this editing to be a fucking nightmare. It's
Yeah.
like it doesn't even
It
stay
would
on
be
frame.
atrocious.
Give them like three word sentences so that it's
Yeah.
like constantly editing every 15 seconds.
Hmm. Oh, that'd be good.
Thank you. Thank you. Really, it's just a sign of Hollywood elitism that my mind is not used to make movies. I assure you, I would make nothing but fucking bangers. You want to know
Hmm.
who I would cast from the next James Bond?
What's that?
John Oliver.
John Oliver is James Bond. Oh my God.
Yeah. Do you have a problem with that?
That's a called shot for sure.
Really, I see it as like a take no prisoners approach.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, if you're going to go big, go fucking big.
Oh, what was the like actual Bond parody movie series? What was that called? Not Austin Powers.
Um, I feel like I have a vague idea of what you're talking about.
Yeah, I can't remember what it's called. Is it just Johnny English?
I think it's Johnny English.
I would love to see John Oliver in like a parody Bond movie. I do think he would genuinely excel in that kind of a setting.
So it's like that kind of movie, but instead of like him being the James Bond figure, he's like the Basil with the gadgets who has to go save
Yeah,
Bond because Bond got into a terrible like accident.
that would be good.
Yeah. So he's got like all these beta gadgets because Bond has all the good ones. He's got to take this shit out of R&D to go save Bond. Oh, that's good.
Worth mentioning while we're
Yeah.
on movie stuff. We got the first trailer for Joker Folie à Deux.
Oh yeah. That movie is going to be a Star is Born for people who are
Mm,
not allowed to not allowed to use the stove.
I like that. That's very good.
Thank you. That's
I'm excited for this.
yeah. I think it looks good.
The Yeah, it the cinematography, as little as we see of it, is noticeably different from what we saw in the first Joker in a very, it seems dumb to say it, but theatrical way, right?
Yeah.
Where they're leaning in on this is a kind of musical adjacent thing in how they're framing the literal shots.
Hmm.
And I think that's going to lend it a really fun quality to differentiate it.
I consider like the first Joker movie to almost be like a jukebox musical itself.
Yeah.
The only thing is like Joaquin does not sing in that whole movie,
No.
but we may get it this time. What do you think their shallow scene's going to be?
Man, I don't know. I really don't know. I have such a little idea for what this movie is going to contain, in part because we get left in the last one with such an uncertain idea of what the fuck is going on in the first place.
Oh
It's so
no.
hard to know, like, just plotting out in my head, like, where does this movie start and where do I think it's going to go? I don't know where it's going to start.
Yeah.
It could start in so many different places. We know in the trailer that we see Joker in some sort of prison or asylum or something like that. Then we also see scenes of Lady Gaga's Harley in very much not incarcerated settings. We see Joker and Harley outside. We see, what Harley in what appears to be like outside a courthouse, practically. It's very much kind of all over the place in a deceptive way, almost. And I'm sure that's partly on purpose. And also, fuck everybody who is being hypercritical of like the closing shot of the Joker lipstick smile thing at the end.
It's
That's just good
cute.
shit.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's so fun. It's cheesy. It's not the most like intellectual kind of thing, but who fucking cares? It's so effective.
Like, and I think this is just the big hate boner people have for superhero movies.
Yeah.
That these people go to fucking film school or they see like Pulp Fiction for the first time and they're just like, I know what movies should be now. So they like see a scene like that, which legitimately adds something to like the concepts, and it's an idea. But they're like, it's not really that deep, therefore it's
Hmm.
ineffective. Like, fuck you, it does something.
The subtle part that I love about it is the idea of Harley enabling Joker. That's not
Ooh.
something that we've seen on a cinematic film yet.
I like that
And it's
interpretation.
Yeah, I think that's a really interesting angle, particularly with Joaquin's Joker being so much more broken in a very real way than we see out of the, cartoonishly, deranged Joker that we expect.
You remember when the first Joker came out and everybody was assuming it was going to like cause a whole bunch of incel violence?
Hmm.
Do you ever feel like that was a little stigmatizing against mental health like back then now?
Absolutely.
Because I was
No, no question.
yeah, I was watching it with my girlfriend and that whole time I was thinking about that whole debate on whether the Joker was too dangerous of a movie. And I think
Hmm.
that was just a little offensive now,
Yeah,
towards the
a bit.
mentally ill. Mhm.
Yeah. It is a really excellent way that they captured what appears to be like genuine mental illness, like something that people are actually dealing with in their lives in a way that is both effective to the story without treating it like it's a punchline or trying to work around it, right?
Yeah, cuz like his whole thing in the movie is that he suffers from it. He
Yeah,
doesn't like
absolutely.
it doesn't enable him. He
It's
suffers.
debilitating.
Yeah. Like the bus scene with the
Right.
the laughing fit.
Hmm.
Or there's even like the whole like talk show itself where they see him like laughing or having a hard time saying those jokes and they just point and laugh at him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I am very much looking forward to this. I think it's going to be fascinating to see what they do with it, how they continue a story that is so intentionally hard to follow in the first place. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think the best part of the original Joker is that even the camera itself is an unreliable narrator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very good. Skimming through here on the trailer, trying to piece together what I can. I am finding a scene that clearly depicts uh, Joker in a police van in what I would assume is him being transported like from the prison to a courthouse, like to be tried, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Presumably for the murder of the talk show host, because that's kind of the only like crime he really did, you know,
I mean,
outside of the other murders, right? Because he did the other murders too, I guess.
he did confess to them, but at the same
Yeah,
time, can his confession be taken as legit? Because like the man clearly has the whole insanity, pleading insanity thing that he can definitely
yeah,
go for.
yeah. I would not like my call shot for this is that the movie starts in some sort of a courthouse scene where Joker is being tried for the crimes of the last film. Harley shows up in some capacity, and some event happens that causes them both to be put into the same penitentiary area. And then the rest of the movie plays out in musical form or whatever within the penitentiary.
Here's my idea, right?
Mm,
Joker goes for his trial. He's got supporters because in the first movie he was like the whole head of the movement ever since
yeah,
he blew Murray's head off.
yeah,
So like you have him go for his trial, and then he sees Harley there. Harley, fangirl, part of the movement, whatever you want to say.
yep.
You can throw in some commentary about how bullshit some judges are because they already have a verdict in mind. Then we have to go through the formality of trial itself. Mistrial happens from the people in there because they were all fucking pissed. All those people.
Right.
Yeah. And then they all get, like, this mistrial happens with a whole bunch of Joker fans. Harley gets thrown in penitentiary with a whole bunch of other people. And that's where we start getting, like, the musical aspects of it.
Hmm.
Because I like your idea that she's an enabler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's like a fangirl almost.
Yeah. I mean, who wouldn't be a fan? I mean, did you see his stand up?
I do really enjoy the narrative decision. They the same thing, obviously in the first Joker movie, but in Batman as well, of having both, Riddler and Joker be individuals that almost certainly not majority of the populace are in agreement with, but that substantial numbers of people are on their side for.
I like the concept of turning Batman's rogues galleries into ideas and
Yeah,
ideologies,
it's really good and effective.
especially for Gotham. Because, like,
Yeah.
Batman himself is a little bit of an ideology, like an ideologue, an idea himself.
Yep.
So it just makes sense to kind of elevate him above that. By the way,
Protect. Yeah.
sorry, Todd
No, go for it.
Phillips, the director of this
Hmm.
movie,
Hmm.
guess what he also produced?
No idea. A
A
Star
sto-
is Born. I don't know.
Correct.
Oh, really?
That's why I'm convinced there's going to be a shallow scene in this.
Probably. I was gonna say though that I think in particular for us being in a post January 6th America, having these groups of fanatics in favor of a clearly atrocious idea is a very effective shorthand to demonstrate the systemic problems that Gotham has.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. Hear me out, right?
Hmm.
What if they actually do sing "Shallow"?
I think that'd be a bit goofy.
It would be fucking hilarious. Now, hear me out. With this
Hmm.
Lady Gaga sings Bradley Cooper's parts in this version, and then Joaquin sings Lady Gaga's parts. I know, I know. I'm a fucking genius. Thank you for noticing.
Man, this guy has such a wild filmography.
Isn't it wild?
It is so all over the place.
I kind of respect it.
Yeah. It's like almost entirely comedies, but then also apparently he wrote the story for Borat, which
Yeah,
is kind of remarkable. And then it goes back to like the exact kind of things that you'd expect with literally having The Hangover Part 2, and The Hangover Part 3. And
gross.
then in the same span of time that he did that, he then goes and does War Dogs, which kind of flopped pretty hard. And then he just comes out of nowhere 3 years later and does Joker. Such a hard pivot.
I want to know how he got the Joker gig.
Yeah. It must have been somewhat off the back of the success from A Star is Born, but
That was 2018. Holy shit. Huh.
I don't know.
Dude's also done documentaries. I want to point out he did a fucking documentary on Gigi Allen.
Wild.
If you're going to do a Joker movie, I guess having Gigi Allen in your back pocket makes a lot of sense.
Weird quote from Phillips just to throw into it. Um, this is so wild. Apparently, in a 2019 interview uh, with Phillips, when asked about why he had stopped making comedy films in the release of his dark drama Joker, he said it was because of the backlash of woke culture. So naturally, when you are no longer doing comedy because of woke, you make Joker.
Okay, now I'm starting to realize why so many people are scared of Joker now.
Quote, go try to be funny nowadays. There were articles written about why comedies don't work anymore. I'll tell you why, because all the fucking funny guys are like, fuck this shit because I don't want to offend you. It's hard to argue with 30 million people on Twitter.
I think there's a way to do comedy without, like, having to worry about offending people. You just gotta, like, know
Yeah,
gag humor more.
yeah. I mean, if woke culture causes people to no longer make The Hangover Part 3 and make Joker, I think that's a success story.
He was probably working on Hangover Part 4, thank you.
God, can you imagine?
No.
Halfway through the script of The Hangover Part 4, and some jackass on Twitter says a mean thing, so you snap and write Joker instead.
How would a Hangover Part 4 go?
That's his Joker moment.
That's where he, like, just pulls out the revolver. You get what you fucking deserve. Shoots out Joker right in their face.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Oh man.
Hangover
I'll
Part.
say
Sorry.
I have not seen The Hangover Parts 2 or 3, and I barely remember the original Hangover, so I'm probably not the person to be asking that. But I don't know. I'd imagine it has to have Ken Jeong doing something.
So, in my opinion, here's the plot for Hangover 4.
Yeah.
In Hollywood, I know you're listening because I've been shooting out banger after fucking banger today. You started off with the hangover. Like they wake up and then they find out one of their friends died in the middle of the night, choked on his own vomits. They were all hungover.
Sure.
And all of a sudden they're like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, we gotta do something. We gotta get rid of the body. And then it just becomes a fucking thriller movie instead.
Okay. Can I give my slight tweak?
Yes.
All of that is the same, except when they wake up, they find that the baby is the one that's dead. Cut to credits,
Ooh.
Train Spotting 3.
Oh no, here we go, right?
Yeah.
They find out one of them is dead, and then you get some like dude that looks like Rod Sterling to enter the frame. Four friends have a bachelor party in the middle of Vegas. They wake up with no memory, but a dead corpse. They will go and search for their answers here in the Twilight Zone. And then you just turn into an extended Twilight Zone movie.
I do like the idea of them having like, not one of like the main three guys is the one
Yeah.
that's dead, but like because like isn't like Ken Jeong's character like a mobster or something, kind of?
Yeah, I think something like that, like International Criminal.
Yeah, so they wake up after like bachelor party night out, find out that the dead guy is one of Ken Jeong's buddies, and they have to weekend at Bernie's his get this guy through his wedding in order to not get murdered by Ken Jeong and his goons.
I love that. That's really fucking good. And I'm sure it's not going to piss off anybody on Twitter.
No, what's there to be mad about?
I was about to answer earnestly, but I decided not to.
So there's not a ton of releases this week,
No, there's
but
not.
we got a couple of interesting ones, I think.
Okay.
I want to start with the Nicolas Cage post-apocalypse movie.
Does he have another one of those?
Apparently, I hadn't heard about this at all. Uh, in a near future, life on Earth has been decimated. Paul, Nicolas Cage, and his twin teenage sons have been living a half-life, tranquility by day and torment by night. When the sun sets, ferocious creatures of the night awaken and consume all living souls in their path. One day, when Thomas, one of his sons, doesn't return home before sundown, Paul chooses to leave the safety of their fortified farm to find him before the creatures arrive. Just as he finds his boy, a nightmarish battle ensues, and Paul is gravely wounded.
Oh no.
Now the twins must devise a desperate plan for surviving the coming night and use everything their father has taught them to keep him alive.
I don't know if that's going to quite work out as a plot. Because, like, what's the
It's
point of it?
weird
Yeah.
seeing Nicolas Cage taking a leading role in what seems to just be like a completely serious movie again.
That's what I'm weirded out by.
Yeah. This is
I
like
also think it's
his
going to be weird to do, like, a Nicolas Cage movie and not let him be Nick Cage.
yeah. This is his The Revenant story, I guess.
Oh no.
Apparently, this movie is Arcadian is doing medium-ish. 85% from critics, 46 from audiences.
That doesn't sound like it's doing that great if it's the audience score is
No.
that low.
Competent director can only do so much with a poor script, and Arcadian is littered with shortcuts and screenwriting cliches.
Sounds about right.
Oof. Unfortunately, brewer and screenwriter Mike Nolan ignored an essential rule. Conceiving an original monster isn't nearly as important as coming up with compelling human characters.
They would not last a single day on a Doctor Who set.
No. I don't know. It's weird because the reviewer scores are like, not 46% bad, right?
Yeah.
It's interesting. A lot of them are surprisingly positive. Not like glowing, but, threes out of four kind of stuff. I guess it seemed like, so I guess fair point to the person pointing out the original monsters is as important as the human characters. I guess if you like the original monsters, you probably get more out of it, right? If
Yeah.
that's what gets your kicks in. The bigger release of this week, though, Civil War. This was an interesting one. It doesn't seem good necessarily. I think I'll probably see it, both in like a morbid curiosity way, in the same way that I would have seen like Sicario, where it's like I know because I've read some reviews that this is going to be kind of brutal, bordering on horrific with the amount of violence and scenes that it has. But I kind of want to see it anyways out of morbid curiosity for that reason.
Hmm.
And also because this is apparently A24's first big budget blockbuster movie. And I do feel like it's important to support them in that endeavor because they've been doing a lot of really great work lately in more lower budget features. And if they can push into this kind of space, that would be pretty noteworthy and could shake up a lot of what is like genuinely stagnating in Hollywood right now.
It's kind of weird because I do see this as a little bit of A24 flexing that everywhere,
Mm-hmm.
everything, everywhere, all at once money.
Yep. So don't want to get too much into the reviews on this. It's not overwhelmingly positive, I wouldn't say, but like mostly positive. 83% from critics, 77 from audiences. It's not bad. What I have seen in the critics, the reviews that I've watched and read of it so far, is that there is a particular character that is not written especially well towards the end, and it greatly detracts from everything that comes before it.
Okay.
And that because of how horrific some of the scenes are, kind of, they're as true to life as you could imagine, but that kind of detracts from the rewatchability of it. And then also, there's apparently very little done to explain why the fuck Texas and California decided to secede from the Union together.
That's what I want to know. I want to know who's this
Yeah.
masterclass writer who found something that they would do that for.
Yeah. Alex Garland, but they just kind of don't really dig into that element from what I've understood. Like, they give a reason, but it's, not anything particularly more compelling than we've already heard so far.
Lame.
Yeah.
Okay, here's a good reason why they would get out of like the Union.
Mm-hmm.
It's so they can go to war with each other and kick each other's asses.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That would at least be something.
it would be.
So I'm gonna try and see this sometime. Probably not like during this week, but maybe next week. We'll see how it goes, and I will report back as I can.
Please do.
Um, I did think it was very fascinating because I was trying to see if I could like catch a showing this morning or something, and just timing of it doesn't work out. Um, oh, that's the wrong link. I was shocked at how few show times it was being given compared to like fucking Godzilla versus Kong.
It's Godzilla X Kong. Get it right.
Yeah, I don't care.
Fuck you. The
um,
MonsterVerse is the best performing cinematic universe at the moment. Like we all knew it would.
I guess it's just it's emblematic of the how much of a role money plays in how much screen time a movie gets, right? It's
Oh,
like
yeah.
we knew that already, but I did find it interesting to see it put so plainly out.
You're right.
Yeah. Apparently you can go see Kung Fu Panda 4 on the cheap. Oh boy.
You want to know? I actually went to the movies this weekend.
Yeah,
Do you want to know what I went and saw?
I would love to.
Shrek 2.
I was just seeing that being in the listings. How was it?
I think this Shrek cinema this Shrek franchise is onto something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm sure it
it's
can only keep going up.
it's like Godfather Part 2, where it really just flushes out the world and it's quite enjoyable. I think it may be better than the first one.
It's a bold take.
It's quite a bold take. But you know what? When we get Shrek 3, I'm almost certain it's just going to be above average in quality, just like this film.
Yeah, has to be.
Buy that Shrek stock, everybody. Nowhere to go but up. You know, Mike Myers can go do no wrong at this time in his career. And it was so nice seeing Eddie Murphy come back to movies.
Hmm. Always good to see him back.
Seriously, where the fuck has Eddie Murphy been?
I'm sure he's just like living with his mountains of money.
If you were
Eddie
rich,
Murphy. Oh, this is just going to tell me to go to his different filmography page. Um, yeah, this is a good example of it. Uh, Rather than having a strict filmography, which he does also have, he has his career tab broken up into one, two, three, four, five different sections because he has had such a massive career. They also have a an abridged filmography on his Wikipedia, his main Wikipedia page, because you also have clicked through to his main Eddie Murphy filmography.
yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. His abridged filmography has 36 entries.
Damn. Abridged.
Yeah, yeah, abridged. Apparently, he has been working on a Beverly Hills Cop that is set to release this year.
If you were super rich like Eddie Murphy, right?
Yeah.
Would you take your like massive funds, get a whole bunch of $1 bills from the bank, tape them together into like fat wads of cash, right? And
Okay.
then use that to build a pillow fort?
Probably not.
You're not fun.
No. That just sounds like a lot of work.
It really would be. But it would be worth it.
Apparently, Liam Neeson had a movie that just got a wide release. Have I not heard about this? I get to butcher some Irish names. This will be
Oh, hell
fun.
yeah.
Ireland, 1970s. Eager to leave his dark past behind, Finbar Murphy leads a quiet life in the remote coastal town of Glencolmcille, far from the political violence that grips the rest of the country. When a menacing crew of terrorists arrive, led by a ruthless woman named Doreen, Finbar is drawn into an increasingly vicious game of cat and mouse, forcing him to choose between exposing his secret identity or defending his friends and neighbors. This apparently released in 2023 sometime, but is only just now getting a wide release, which is kind of strange. Reviews are mostly favorable.
Hmm.
It's a good review. This is a really good movie. I poke a lot of fun at Liam Neeson for making the same movie over and over again, but this goes to show that you can play that guy without playing that guy.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Last piece of like release news to talk about. The Fallout TV show has come out and is kind of a surprise wide hit.
What's a Fallout?
I That would be the adapt. Is it fair to call it an adaptation?
I would say yes because it's not the
Mm,
original medium of the franchise.
okay. An adaptation of the Fallout video games into an episodic TV format.
And I understand this is not adapting any one of the single games as much as
It
it's
is not.
adapting the world.
And it's very explicitly kind of its own thing, where, or maybe even not explicitly, but when you dig into it, they very clearly were not caught up on worrying about whether or not this 100% lines up with what we were shown in the games in terms of timelines or events or motivations of factions, right?
So it's like an
It's its own
80.
thing set in the Fallout universe.
Okay.
And it's overwhelmingly popular right now. 94% critic review, 88% from audiences. Almost all of the most stinging criticism I've seen is based almost entirely in kind of like nonsense almost. People being petty and upset that they, you know, there's like obviously we were talking about this before the show started about the kind of flagrantly sexist, all women are bad kind of chuds that are of course going to come out of the woodwork for something like this in the first place. But the like more, reasonable complaints that I see about it do seem to stem from it not being tied to any particular part of the Fallout lore.
So the fans hate it.
12% of them, apparently.
I don't know. I think it's a cool idea to do it like this. And we've seen like with Halo, it doesn't
Mhm.
matter if it companies don't care if they actually adapt the games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to be fair as well, this is far better than Halo ever had a chance of being.
You're not wrong.
Like, what is Halo even sitting at? Is it above 50? You want to take a guess? Over under 50% for the Halo TV show.
Under.
I'm guessing under as well. Okay, maybe TV reviewers are just fucking insane. It's at 80.
Bullshit.
I don't understand it.
Paid. Paid
Season
reviews.
2 is at 90.
Paid reviews. They probably use the same company I used to jack up our reviews.
I don't understand how anyone could come to that conclusion. Let me look at the first season. The first season's at 70, which is still way too high.
Anything?
See, okay,
Yeah.
the what is this? One of the top 5 positive reviews um praises it for its promises of better things to come.
What?
I cannot accept that when your promises of better things to come are in the form of where the hell why is it there? Okay, it's just Rotten Tomatoes being a horror website. A 9-episode series. That is too fucking long. If you can't tell a story on its own in that time period, I don't know. TV reviewers are going too soft. They should not settle for this kind of crap.
I think it's really stupid in this time of like golden age of television.
Yeah.
You see a lot of things that know the language of prestige TV shows.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what I'm talking about, like the very obvious color grading, like
Yeah.
night scenes are blue and orange at all
Yeah.
times. They all speak like Breaking Bad characters. It's got one good shot every 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And like that's the language. And like reviewers are just so trained to do that, like give it a good review because it's like, oh yeah, it does the things I like. I like this style.
Yeah. It is long past due that we treat TV shows, we grade TV shows on the same merits that we grade movies.
Yeah.
TV shows have proven that they can do better. And we should not just accept them when they are not doing that.
I just
Let
want
me,
to talk.
sorry, I have
I
to
want
check
to
something
know.
again real quick.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not quite as bad as I thought it was. I saw a snippet on, I think it was on like the Wikipedia page. It must just be either out of date or just wrong. That showed Loki season 2 at like 60% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Ooh,
I
beautiful.
was like, there's no fucking way Loki is getting rated. Loki season 2 is getting rated lower than Halo, the Paramount Plus show. I'm glad that that's not the case because that would have been genuinely disgraceful and a cause for alarm of media literacy of TV show reviewers.
I don't think it's even a matter of like media literacy reviewers. Like at the end of the day, like they're not trying to. Their job isn't to contribute to a Rotten Tomato score as much as it is to bring people to read their reviews and like get the advertiser juices from that review.
I guess.
So like, and that may be just like the cultural shift
I
with Rotten
guess
Tomatoes. Yeah.
I guess the idea that it's being done on purpose because they need to get clicks doesn't exactly make me feel comforted.
No, but that's what I'm arguing. It's like
I
very
know.
obviously that nowadays that you have to find where the meter is going to be, write an interesting review focused on the frame of that meter, and then
Yeah.
pray you get clicks. You know, when you do that segment where you read like the snappy headlines from Rotten Tomatoes, that's
Hmm.
all what they're farming for. They gotta have a snappy headline so someone reads the full article.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. Like I'm just trying to humanize a very broken system.
Sure, that's fair.
Yeah. Because when's the last time you've seen anything like big? And I'm talking about like pop culture relevant dip into like a 60 or a 70. I feel like
Oh,
it
I
all,
mean, never.
yeah. And I do think it's partially because of that whole like, we got to bring home the bacon. So we can't live
Sure,
in a world of nuance as much as extremes.
I suppose. I don't like it though.
I don't like it either.
I, did I share you the air filter review website's critique of mainstream media reviews?
No, please share.
Let me see if I can find this real quick. Really good piece written by House Fresh, talking about how Google is killing independent review sites.
That's true
Um,
though.
it is very true, and they give really good examples of how the SEO slop has just ruined everything and why you just genuinely you can't trust any of these things because they're all either outright lies or twisted so much to promote the brands that they get the most money from that they might as well be.
Anybody that
Um,
does SEO optimization
yeah,
can go to hell.
yeah.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, I don't disagree at a high level, but I do feel bad for the people who work at like Google, whose job it is to try to manage that, because they're fighting a constant arms race with all of like, pick a major website, right?
Yeah.
Like it's literally all of them. They're all trying to figure out how to game the system, and it comes at the detriment of smaller sites that are actually doing good work.
Well, and that's like where we are with like branding nowadays because we don't say like looking web searching. We say we Google something. So
Yep.
it's like that's the only option that's really socially relevant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and even if you go to like other browsers, non-Chrome based browsers, they almost all are derivatives of they all use Google based search engines still
Yeah.
because even as bad as Google is, the alternatives are worse or have the same systemic problems.
And
Because it's not necessarily the fault of Google, it's people trying to game the systems that Google have made.
correct. And Google's just based off a DARPA program,
Hmm.
which is fucked up. You ready for a hot take?
Sure.
I was on a run the other day and this thought came to me. Here's my hot take for the year. All this stuff is based off DARPA shit.
Yeah.
We should allow the government to offer public services to compete with these Not to, just because government good, blah, 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 blah. Fuck that. No, because they need more fucking competition in these markets. And I think it'd be very funny to see government tax dollars generated just because Google can't get off their fucking ass.
I don't know. That's an interesting point for sure. I don't
Thank you.
immediately hate it.
Like, okay, so like my idea was the worst case scenario is everybody wants and does not want government funded journalism, right?
Well, I guess.
Yeah. Like, because people see like the instant 1984 comparison right away.
Sure.
Yeah, Ministry of Truth bullshit. I get it. And I mean, that's why we have CNN and Fox and all that bullshit. Because, like, automatically those private sectors are going to compete with this. It's not like, they don't already exist. We're not,
Yeah.
we're just creating more competition in the market. You're creating government jobs. That opens fucking the student loan programs. You have all these hungry fucking kids nowadays trying to eat. Can't afford it with their student loans.
Hmm.
So you
I
create more of
guess
these
that's
programs.
the
Yeah.
important distinction between government media and government funded private media, right?
Yeah.
Like NPR is in many ways my, standard that I would hold other places to. And it's entirely, predominantly, I guess you could say, government funded.
Yeah. I agree.
I do think I like the idea. Obviously, it couldn't be entirely controlled by the government, but I do like the idea of establishing an NPR like entity or setting aside funding for, I guess would be the better way of putting it, setting aside funding for an NPR like entity to situate themselves in search related fields to act as an unbiased position.
Just my thought.
Even if it's like
Mhm.
largely not the most useful, right? Because I'm sure Google has made plenty of legitimate improvements as they've gone through and learned and adapted their site to be legitimately better for the end user.
Mhm.
It would still be really fascinating to have access to that unpartisan, unbiased, unpaid for perspective to see how it differs.
They've already got the DARPA program, so like they could
Yeah.
take the original framework and make something similar.
Hmm. I guess the ultimate way to ensure that is just make it open source.
Yeah.
As long
And
as the full code is out there and people can distribute that as they want, it's pretty unlikely that anyone could successfully tamper with it.
not if it's open code, because
Hmm.
if it was open source, there's always someone that can fix it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say though, it is interesting because we had that case about 2 weeks ago where because Linux devs are uh, practically homunculi at this point. There's that guy that was like micro benchmarking or something and found a backdoor that was cooked into a Linux program that was not fully distributed yet. It was in beta, but that was part of when people looked into it, seemed to be a state actor who had embedded themselves in this Linux group, making like legitimate contributions and improvements to this program for like 2 years before they slipped in a complete access backdoor kind of thing.
That's hilarious.
So it's a good reminder that just because something is open source, it's not foolproof.
No. I don't even remember how we got on this topic.
Yeah. Air freshener review place.
Oh
Their
yeah.
big takeaway though is that because they're like that's genuinely the only thing they do. They review like in-home air purification units
Yeah.
empirically. So they have data to back up their claims when they look at a specific unit and go, yeah, this thing literally doesn't work. It's a waste of like $500 for you to buy it. And then they see all the SEO website garbage from like Better Homes and Gardens and Rolling Stone, who are claiming that they're reviewing the 10 best air fresheners or whatever, and they claim to be empirical and they have this methodology and it's being performed by this person and they have all these fancy pictures. And then they recommend literally the worst one because it's $500 and it gets them the most commission when somebody clicks their link to buy it on Amazon.
Yeah. I forgot
That's where it
about
came
Rolling
from.
Stone for a hot minute.
Mm-hmm.
And does anybody think Rolling Stone is still like relevant?
It's a mixed bag, you know. I will say, here's my hot take for
Yeah.
probably not the year. I'll have more. I'm not going to commit to that.
It's my
I
hottest take of the
think
year, I will say. Go on.
I think we're going to see a really fascinating trend as I guess it would be like Gen Alpha is what it would be. I think that generation of people having grown up not only with technology, but seeing the consequences of it in the people like in our generation and in millennials, how detrimental it is in a very real and visible way. I think we're going to start to see uh, self regulation to a degree. That's my hot take.
Define
I've been
so.
shocked. I've been shocked this last week as the weather got really nice after a kind of like long and crummy winter that
Yeah.
never really got too cold but stayed too cold to actually do anything.
Shitty
I've
enough.
been shocked at the number of people I've seen who are like under 12 just being outside on their own, walking around.
Fuck yeah.
I, in the almost 5 years now that I've been here, and that's including during fucking COVID, where you didn't have a goddamn choice. You were at home anyways. It's not like you could go to school and have that be like, oh, well, I can't go outside because I got to go to school or got to go to sports. Wasn't a fucking thing. This is the only time I've seen that kind of behavior amongst people that young and younger.
Well, I think there's like this cultural thing every generation does when they have like a primary forum or a means of communication that
Mm-hmm.
like is relevant to like that generational culture. And I
Mm-hmm.
think the internet's kind of polluted already where it's at. I
Yeah.
it would not it would not surprise me if Gen Alpha just like they say, if the parents love it, the kids hate it.
Yeah.
If we start seeing that kind of schism.
Mm-hmm.
So I agree. That's probably a pretty damn good observation. I will say, I noticed something very similar in my neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it was like a parent on a walk with like three kids.
Mm-hmm.
Kids were definitely a lot more ahead of the parent, where I was really worried that the kids were out on their own until I saw the parent like very, fairly distant from them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Gen Alpha, the first generation to touch grass.
Last real piece of news I have that I'm hoping will end up being a little bit more substantial when we come back around next week. Uh, Manhattan judge has officially denied Trump's request for his trial to be delayed again. So come tomorrow, 4:15, we're going to see the start of the New York financial fraud trial happening in its appeals. And it's going to be fascinating to see. Allegedly, Trump seems to have already violated the gag order that the judge put in place before the trial even began. There has been questions as to the financial validity of the bond that he tried to post because there's apparently certain documentation that was required for posting that bond to like prove that it was, truly money that he had the right to give to them that was lacking.
Hmm.
And there's going to be a lot of questions that are going to need to be answered here pretty quickly. And if they can't be answered adequately, there's not a ton of room for them to move on.
Give him a week, he'll get his special treatment that he so
Yeah,
joyfully deserves.
yeah, we'll have to see. It certainly seems like something's about to start.
I hope so.
It'll be good to see.
We've been dealing with this shithead for 9 years now.
Yeah, a long time coming.
Do you feel like your sense of time has been skewed since the pandemic?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I'm still
Though
adjusting.
I will say, I think the idea that it is entirely the fault of the pandemic is blown out of proportion.
You think
I
so?
think for most people, they're just getting older and they don't want to acknowledge that.
See, like, I'm willing to chalk it up to some of it's old because I think like the
Yeah,
way I handle memory has changed as I got older.
yeah.
Where I'm not so much remembering small little daily things as much as I'm remembering bigger things. And I
Hmm.
think that fucks with my sense of time.
For sure.
But at the same time, when I reflect on the memories from like the pandemic, all that seems to go by so much slower than when I actually lived through it.
Hmm. No, for sure. The big thing for me is that I think for a lot of people, particularly in our generation and older, is that they're going through a series of major life events that are already going to be like I'm gonna say like traumatic, not like in a bad way, but in like a very clinical sense of having a real impact on your mental health,
Mm.
good or bad, and having that mixed up with a global pandemic is obviously not going to make things better, but it gives people an excuse that they wouldn't have had otherwise to, delay that introspection.
I like that actually. Because, like,
It also did definitely do something, though.
when I think of the pandemic, I think of that as like 2020 to 2022.
Hmm.
So, like, I know we're still early in 2024, but the idea of it, like, of us having like a 2023 kind of blows my mind.
Yeah,
Yeah. And, like,
yeah, it definitely the year definitely feels wrong.
that's like where I'm fucked with my sense of time is like thinking of the years, mainly because I consider like the whole pandemic just stolen time. Mainly because we just couldn't live the life we wanted at the time. But it is what it is. Did I lose you?
No, no, I'm still around.
Oh, fair.
That's about all I have, though. I did see a very fun piece that, we're gonna have to wait and see how it actually turns out. It'd probably be, incredibly disappointing, but we have the like Jake Paul, whichever Paul brother, and Mike Tyson fight coming up soon.
I'm excited.
And they've both been promoting their training regimens, of course, because, social media clout and all that. And as much of a freak of nature as Mike Tyson is, the prospect of him ignoring the rules of like the monetary rules of the fight, where apparently there's a clause in it where they both get paid more the longer the fight goes.
Yeah.
I love that there's a chance that he just gets in the ring, sees red, and goes. And at his age, he is in remarkably good shape still, where it's like doesn't look like he lost a beat.
Have you
So
seen those promo videos of him training?
yeah,
I respect Mike Tyson. I
oh
fear
yeah,
Mike Tyson. I
I
do not
would
want to be in a
never.
ring with him.
No,
No.
no, dude is terrifying.
This motherfucker's got 40 pounds on me, and he's the
Yeah,
same height.
yeah,
Yeah. He
yeah.
gonna fuck up any boy. Like any
He's
boy
like
in the ring.
how old is he? I
57.
genuinely don't know. 57. He moves so fast. it is genuinely, it feels unreal watching him. Like, it seems like they must have sped up the footage or something.
Yeah. No,
That
he
he can
did.
be at that age moving that fast.
I want to
I
know
saw
why Jake Paul thought this was a good idea.
oh money, of course. I'm sure they're both getting paid extremely well, regardless of how long the fight takes. And
I
clout, right? He gets a ton of publicity, and that's what he lives for. I think I best saw it summed up. People comparing their training regimens, where Paul is obviously not like an unskilled fighter, right?
yeah.
Versus an average person, he would easily beat them because he has legitimate practice and techniques and training and athleticism. But Mike Tyson is a generational talent. I don't I don't know. If Mike Tyson somehow doesn't win, I don't think they're going to be able to beat any allegations of it being like faked.
Let me just point something in your in our channel.
Yeah.
Jake Paul does not have a video like that.
No.
I just
Not
posted
even
a video
close.
of all of Mike Tyson's knockouts explained.
Yeah.
It is 33 and 43 seconds, 33 minutes and 43 seconds of him just wrecking people's shit. One of these motherfuckers has a punch out game.
Yeah.
If Jake Paul wins this, right? I think Nintendo is obligated to give him a punch out game.
He gets to be the like wimpy guy at the very start.
This is like straight up Glass Joe versus fucking
Yep.
Mr. Dream.
Yep. Not even close.
I love the comments for this video because it's a fairly new video. Posted 1 day ago.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out the modern martial artist on YouTube for posting this.
Mm-hmm.
And all the comments are, you really should have just like given this a few months to cook, just in case there's another one you need to put in there. God damn. Do you think if Mike Tyson wins, he's going to go for the ear again?
No. Don't.
How wild would it be if like Jake Paul falls on there, Mike Tyson's knows in his contract he's got to extend the show, so he just goes down there and starts gnawing on his ear.
Credit to Mike Tyson. He has made pretty remarkable work on himself at like an emotional and mental level,
Oh yeah,
where
it
he
could
seems
not
like
be.
he's genuinely bettered himself substantially over the years as an individual.
Well, like okay, so like it could not have been easy for Mike Tyson to have like that career
Mm-hmm.
because like you're Mike fucking Tyson.
Yeah.
You are a star, but your whole claim to fame is to kick a dude's ass faster than they can kick your ass. So you always got like something like a fire under you at all times. That's stressful. Knowing that you've got to train harder than most people train in their fucking lives on a daily basis. And then you have to get in the fucking ring with an angry ass motherfucker who wants to kick your ass faster than you can kick theirs. So not only are you doing this for your career and money, but you also got to make sure you don't get fucking hurt in all this. So
Mm-hmm.
the stress and the drugs he was probably under, because let's face it, everybody was on drugs back then, couldn't have been easy.
No, not at
No.
all.
Mike Tyson is one of the 5 people on this planet I will say, can definitively say he had that dog in him.
Absolutely.
Anything else you have for the show today? Any last
I
words?
don't believe so. I was doing one last skim, and I'm not finding anything. Nothing particularly of note, at least.
That's okay. This was a tight ass
Uh, oh,
episode. Oh,
uh, Crumblies each sentenced 10 to 15 years for involuntary manslaughter after their son's committing of the school shooting here in Michigan.
about
Fuck
fucking
them.
time. Yeah.
About time. Sets a great precedent. Also, Michigan now has laws on the books that require people to lock up their guns, and if they fail to, there are increased penalties for it. So
Fair
good
reminder.
fucking riddance.
Fair reminder to be a fucking parent.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm the infamous Orion, and I've been a schmo.
And I'm Kyril, and I've been a schmo.
And this has been the Two Schmo Show. I have no outside joke.